real sick or you can't move, you can pray with your eyes. But have you ever had to pray that way? Have you ever been in such a case that you couldn't even move your arms? You couldn't even sit up? He experienced it. This man wasn't even 30 years old. This man called people to Islam. Many times he would tell me before he got ill, he would tell me, "Here, this man over here, tell him about Islam. Help this man, he needs to know so-and-so." And they would come into Islam. Even the guards that worked there took Shahada from this man. One woman guard took Shahada from him. And while he was incarcerated, they got married. Just one of the last conversations that he and I had together, he said, "Sheikh, can I talk to you in private?" I said, "Yes." He asked the others to leave him with me. He said, "I don't like to bother you, but I have a family, and I know I can't take care of them. I'm stuck here, and I feel like I'm not even going to make another week. So I just want to ask you, if you don't mind, I know it's a burden, could you look after them for me? See if they're okay." I said, "Of course. You're all right." He said, "No, I'm not all right. Alhamdulillah." But he started crying, and tears coming down his face. He started choking back a little bit. I said, "What are you crying for?" He said, "Well, I don't know what's going to happen." I said, "Look at you. You're the only one in the whole place got a good shot at the best, and you crying. I'm the one ought to be crying, because Allah, He's letting you get close to Him through this. For sure, if you're a patient, this is Jannah for you." He said, "It is?" I said, "Yes. Not only that, it's Shaheed." He said, "Why?" And I told him about the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then his tears came more, but now his face is smiling. He said, "Allah's doing this for me?" I said, "He sure is." He said, "Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah." The next Friday, he didn't come. He was across the yard in the BC hospital. He died before the sun went down on Friday. His wife became a very good Muslim. She got married to another brother. And she still calls once in a while, lets us know how things are going. And all the brothers there still remember the brother. Alhamdulillah. There was another case that a young man was in a prison that I was giving some talk on a Monday morning. I used to do a program on the Monday mornings, and he was sitting there, or laying there actually. He was laying on the floor, you know, like some of the kids like to just hang out. Only his neck is up against the wall, and he's listening to me talk and go on about so-and-so and different things in Islam. Finally he said, "Hey, say, why are you coming in here bothering with us? We're just criminals." I stopped what I was doing. I walked over and I said, "What did you say?" "So we're just criminals. Why do you bother with us?" I said, "Are you admitting that you're bad?" He said, "Absolutely." I said, "Okay, guess what? Probably everybody else in here, you know, including me, is a criminal of some kind. But you just became honest. You just told the truth. So therefore, you're probably better than all of us." He looked like, "What?" He asked me if I would come and sit with him in the cell one time. I went down, the guard let me in, and I sat with him for a while. And we talked. He said, "I'm listening to what you're saying, and I understand it. But I don't think I'm good enough to be a Muslim. I don't think I qualify to be somebody who's deserving of this, and I don't think I'm good enough. I think I'll make mistakes. I know me." I said, "Well, guess what? You just described me. I make mistakes too." He said, "Well, I'd like to try to be a Muslim. So he made his shahada. He came up with us and prayed the Jummah and everything. And he started really working for Islam. He started studying. He tried to learn Arabic, read the Quran, learn Hadith. And all this time he's waiting to go on trial. He hadn't even been on trial yet. 4 others in the same thing coming in there in our class about Islam. 4 others were with him on trial, separate trials, for the same event. Now I'm going to tell you the story of what happened. He and his buddies decided to get some money one day. So they went into a pawn shop where people take things in like TVs and radios and electric saws or whatever, and they get money, borrow money at 200% interest, and then they go and try to get it out later. It's a pawn shop. Now, they sell a lot of things in pawn shop. One of the main things they sell is guns, by the way. I don't know if you know that. They sell guns, rifles, shotguns, everything they got. These boys walked in and wanted money, so they came in there, and they had guns themselves. This boy had a gun. A couple others had guns. They walked in there, pulled their guns out, and it was a lady standing there. They said, "Give us your money." So she reached down under the cash register and pulled out a gun and started shooting them. And they panicked. They didn't expect this lady's going to shoot us. So they started shooting back, and one of them killed her. And of course, they got caught. They went to prison, waiting for their trial to come up. And then the issue became, who shot her? We got a lot of people popping guns there all of a sudden, and we want to know who's the actual shooter. And every single one of them said, "Not me. I didn't shoot her." But one thing that we did know, that this boy's gun was not the right caliber, and it had not been fired. And it's the only one that has his fingerprints. So this much we know for sure, he didn't do it, at least not with that gun. And all of them knew who did do it, by the way. All of them went on trial one by one, and he was the last one to go on trial. And I remember when my wife came to me with a newspaper one day, and she said, "This man is on the front page. Isn't this the one you told me about that came to Islam?" And I went and I looked. Full page, front page, big orange suit. They wear orange suits over there. And they said, "Look, this is the murderer of this lady." Full confession. Judge sentenced him. They're going to come back for sentencing. And they brought him back in for sentencing. And guess what? Death penalty for him. Now he was taken out of general population and kept in high security. He's only allowed out of a small cell for 1 hour under extreme heavy guards. He can go and take his shower. He can make any phone calls he wants. Of course, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Who are you going to call? And then he can exercise, do whatever, then get back in that cell for 23 more hours. It took a long time, partly my own fault, before I could get in to see him. Days. But when I got in to see him, I sat there on the bed with him, because all he had is a little cot. He had a Hadith book, the Quran, and on the wall, he had that front page of the newspaper. I was trying to understand what happened. But it says in the newspaper some of what he said. And then he filled me in on the details. When they asked him, they asked the lawyer, because these guys don't want to go on, when they go to trial, they never speak for themselves. You always have a lawyer talk for you. He said, "I want to talk." And the lawyer's telling him, "No, I want to talk." No, that's not how it works. Well, he has a right. It's dumb, but he did it. And he said, "Your Honor, all of us are guilty. We were all there. And it doesn't matter who pulled the trigger. We were there. And it would have been just as easy for me or anybody else, because that was our intent." Look what he learned from Islam. He learned that intention is what it's all about. He also learned that speaking the truth, even if it's against yourself, is an important quality in Islam.